Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Puckett. I can't thank you enough for checking out what's only my 4th YouTube video of all time, and this one I've been really excited for. This is 20 Wholesome Things, and for all of you beautiful people that followed me over here from Imager, you might have seen almost 200 series posts over there, as every single one of them went viral, but today we're going to do things a little bit differently. I have not seen any of these images. I did not pick them myself. I have an anonymous angel helping me out with this channel, and they've been saving up the 20 most wholesome things they've seen in the last month. So while you're watching this and while I'm recording this, we're going to be seeing them together for the first time. And what's the point of that? We're going to be processing these beautiful emotions at the same time. We're going to be seeing all of these at the same time, and hopefully at the end of the video, together, we'll feel better than we did when we started the video. So without further ado, let's check out the first image and see what we're working with. Alright, we made it. Let's get to the wholesome things. If you need to pause this video and take a break to go get some tea or something like that, do so now. We've got 20 wholesome things to go through together. Let's get it going. Alright, number one, first and foremost, let's see what this anonymous angel has gotten together for us. Are you excited? Yeah, me too. Alright. Remember this. Popcorn is prepared all in the same pot, in the same heat and in the same oil, but they don't pop at the same time. So don't compare yourself to others. Your time to pop is coming. I love that. I love that. We all have different starting points, and frankly, we all have different ending points too of what we want out of life. My starting point in life was upper middle class and beautiful, and everything dropped out the bottom. Being homeless for so long, that now even just having this tiny little studio. I mean, I live in a garage that somebody put a TV and a fireplace in and called it a studio, but it's everything I've ever wanted, since being homeless, is just to have a couch with my dogs. And, if you don't have everything you wanted yet, that's all right. It doesn't matter what age you are. Just keep moving forward. Your time to pop is coming. I love it. Number two, if I see you running, I don't care if you're big, small, slow, fast, in shape, out of shape, obese, or skinny. If you're running, I'm rooting for you. I love that. Most of you guys know I run about 55 miles a week with my 2 dogs, and it brings me so much joy. I love seeing other people running too, even if it's across the street, and throwing the Arsenio Hall or root them on. Runners are a pretty supportive community, so if you're looking to get more active this week, here is your tip to go ahead and do it. Come back and tell us about it in next week's video. We'd love to have everybody get off the couch and do something to get that heart rate moving. If it's not running, if it's not walking, whatever you might do, hopefully it brings you joy and you can get the heart rate up and work on that cardiovascular health. Number three, kid had an old bike with no brakes and dented someone's car. A few days later, the car owner surprised the kid with a new bike. Oh, look at the kid too. I messed up my bike last year. I was biking to work a little over 5 miles a day on the side of a highway in this tiny little town. It was awful. And my bike broke down. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And some people at a gas station helped me fix it temporarily so at least I could get home from work that day. I wrote about that wholesome act on Imager, and somebody stepped up and sent me a new bike. She actually had me go down to the bike shop in the town I was in, and she called in the order. This 4-figure bike is the most amazing thing. It was one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for me, so that now I can, get to work easier and also haul my dogs around. I've got a trailer on the back so they can come with. And it just means the world. I don't have a car. I don't drive. So I'm pretty limited to, what's 5 to 10 miles around my apartment here, and a bike really definitely helps that. All right, number 4, start my PhD program on Monday, and my mom just asked me if I would send her my papers as I finished writing them for her to read, because she's so proud of me. She also said she tried really hard to understand them. Not gonna lie, I'm full on ugly crying right now. What a great moment for me to give a shout out. Mom, I know you're watching this right now. I love you to death. My mom was up 1,000 miles away from me. I haven't seen her in years now. Her and my father are still married and in love, and maybe we don't talk as much as we should. So Mom, I'll give you a call when I'm done recording this video, and I hope everything's well when you see this video. I love you. Next one. We're all a little broken, but last time I checked, broken crayon still color. That's pretty cute. Trent Shelton, I like that. We're all broken. I mean, even if you think somebody's fixed, people see me, you know, in the homelessness and the 2-decade addiction that I overcame, and a lot of people just kind of assume that I've either got it all figured out or everything's fine. But I mean, I'm here to tell you it's never fine. You know, I still can't sleep at night because I think about those homeless days and everything I did back then. You know, I don't wake up happy in the morning. Everybody has their own issues, and if I were to call myself either broken or fixed, I'm definitely way more broken than I am fixed. But it's a process, you know. I'm a little less broken than I was last year, than I was last week, or even yesterday. So as long as you're moving forward with it, I'm going to be here rooting you guys on, and I hope you'll be here as I go through my journey as well. Houston boy gives blessing bags to Houston's homeless people. Oh, and look at the little kid too. On Thanksgiving, Dylan gave 50 bags full of snacks, cones, and other hygiene products to homeless Houstonians. I can only recall a couple of times that somebody gave me something like that when I was living on the street, and every single time it was churches. Churches do so much good in the community, and that's regardless if you're religious or not. I don't go to church myself, personal choice. But I mean, most churches have food banks, even if they don't advertise it. Most churches have clothing banks, even if they don't advertise it, and free meals, you know, maybe a couple times a week, a couple times a month or a year, whatever it might be. Churches are such a huge ally to homeless people in most cities that if you're out there struggling with homelessness, or you're out there struggling, you know, with bills or clothes or whatever it might be, or food, check into churches as a local resource. Shout out to all the churches that helped me in Minneapolis and Seattle. That's me. Oh, I know what this one is. That's me. Thank you and farewell, Mr. Puckett. Switched to watching him on his new YouTube channel, and he said today was his last day on Imager and the free pizza dude. I miss all the wholesome posts that greeted me on my toughest mornings. I have no idea if he will see this, but thank you, Mr. Puckett. Here's my daughter trying to show Mrs. Puckett her Bob. I think sometimes maybe you don't realize what an impact you have on somebody else's life, good or bad, until you don't have that impact anymore. So she showed her thought to Mrs. Puckett. All right, let's keep going, guys. Couple celebrates their 60th wedding anniversary in their original outfits. That is adorable. You know, I've never really known much about true love. I've had one date in 4 years. I mean, it's not really something I search for in my life, a companion in that way. But I still love to see it. Look at these two, how young they were in the first picture here. That's fantastic. Oh, and this one's from R. Nashville. What's up, Nashville? What if I want to pay someone's rent? This has been a hard year, and I was thinking of allocating some of my own holiday resources to help someone else. Maybe paying a Nashville stranger's rent, or a phone bill, or buying someone's family Christmas dinner. That is beautiful. You know, one thing I really learned from doing the free pizza dude and all the supply drives and fundraisers we did on Imager is that everybody wants to help. You know, and one of the biggest problems is they don't know who to help, how to get connected with them, or exactly how to help that person. So if you're out there wanting to help somebody, but maybe you don't have the resources to, there is this huge gap available for middlemen, which is really what I saw myself as on Imager. You know, I could only give $42 to every cause that I was promoting in it, and that certainly wasn't putting anybody over their financial goal. But I was able to bring the people who wanted to help together with the people who needed the help, and just kind of worked as that middleman. So there's plenty to do out there if you don't have the resources, but you still want to help someone. And this is beautiful. I love that. Our Nashville, let's do it. I moved to Nashville, back in February, and I've loved every second of it. It's been fantastic so far. All right. I gave my elderly neighbor my phone number the other day by telling him to call me if he needed anything. He called me for the first time today because he was lonely. We talked for 20 minutes and he said he'd call me again tomorrow. My heart is happy. I love that. I mentioned I'm kind of in a garage here, and I'm also isolated from my neighbors by all these fences. I haven't met one of them since I moved in, and I only know 2 people really in Nashville, 3 people I guess. 2 of them you met in the first video, Z Hart, who was cutting my hair, and her husband there. They're the entire reason I moved to Nashville. I don't even think they know that, but they're out there watching this video right now. And some of you know I was planning to move to Seattle earlier this year, but at the last minute I scrapped everything and moved to Nashville, and that was only because of Z Hart and her husband. I just wanted to be close to them. They're the most beautiful people you've ever met, and I have not regretted 1 second of that choice, even though I don't really know anybody else here. They're my best friends. I love them. 2 photos taken an hour apart before and after adoption. I love it. I love it. Mrs. Puckett's got a great adoption story. You know, I think I've had her maybe 8 months now, and when I got her, she was overweight, and she's just an anxious mess of a dog who had been locked in a garage for half her life and homeless for the other half, and then in the shelter for some time too, I guess there. But just through all the running she has done and all the experiences she's had, she's turned into the most amazing dog. It's been fantastic. She still has some anxiety issues, but she's perfect just the way she is. I love her. I love every single moment with this dog. And PJ probably has a little bit of room for growth, you know, but he's 10 months old. We have all the time in the world for him to turn into a perfect dog. He's everything I could have ever wanted at this stage in his life. I absolutely love him. Thank you, buddy. I love you. When you get to... Oh, there she is! There she is! When you get to celebrate your birthday with a loving family for the first time at age 5. What an amazing birthday it was. We celebrated it back in August on my birthday, and people all over the world sent her presents and treats and food and all this amazing stuff, and we went out. I think we ran a 25K that day. I think we ran 16 miles for her birthday, and it was such a lovely birthday. It was everything. It's just been so great to spend so much time with each of these dogs. I think in the 8 months, I guess, since I've had Mr. Puckett, Mrs. Puckett, 9 months now, we've only spent a couple of hours total apart. So she's my rock, man. She's my everything. Go easy on yourself. You're doing great. This is just really hard. I like that. I mean, your time to pop, right? If you haven't popped, it's still coming, and 2020 has been difficult for everyone. I mean, I've gone through more changes in 2020 than I may have, you know, in the 33 years before that. So we're all adjusting to this new normal, and hopefully we're doing it together. You know, hopefully you're not out there isolating yourself, because whatever feelings you have, I can guarantee you there's somebody else out there in the world going through something very similar. You know, it's one thing I learned in rehab and all the psych wards I went to, is that the feelings I'm experiencing, as intense as they may be, are not necessarily unique. You know, I am not this island out there experiencing these problems all alone, because so many other people are going through the same thing, the same mental illness, the same emotional struggles. So if you're out there isolating because you think you're the only one going through something, I'm here to tell you you're not. You know, if you need a hand, reach out. And if you don't, grab a hold of someone reaching. We all have, you know, our proper place in making sure our communities are doing well, and each person in that community. So go easy on yourself, as it says. You are under no obligation to remain the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, or even a day ago. You are here to create yourself continuously. I like that. I like that. You know, you can't compare yourself to anybody else, because we all have different starting lines and different finish lines and different times that will pop. But the only person you really have to be better than is who you were yesterday, you know, and who you were last year. That's the only person you can compare yourself, so you can actually see adequate growth. If, you know, progress isn't linear, we're all going to have setbacks. So if you're further back today than perhaps you were 6 months ago, then maybe you're just being slingshotted. You're being pulled back so that you can fire forward. Just keep moving forward no matter what you do. When my son was 4, he saw a commercial that said brushing alone is not enough to prevent cavities and tooth decay. So he made us start brushing our teeth with him. It's been 3 years. Nobody tell him. I've seen this one. I think this was in one of my posts. I like that. I don't have kids. I don't know kids at all. I mean, I've never even held a baby before, so I can't relate to the wholesome children and family thing. But it doesn't mean I don't love it. Me when I'm going to sleep. knowing I'm going to find love someday, and knowing I'm worth loving, even if I'm struggling to love myself. You know, worthiness is a pretty common topic in my head. A lot of you out there have only seen me since my addiction and seen me, you know, doing a lot better, even though I'm in this tiny studio, you know, and without a savings account even, but I've come so far. But worthiness is something that I still relate to my past. You know, I don't think of, am I worthy of love now? My brain thinks of it, am I worthy of love because I'm an addict who was homeless for so long, you know? And that answer is no for me. So it's something I struggle with all the time, and I think maybe I could be a little bit more like Homer Simpson in this meme. And maybe that'd help my romantic life too. I don't know. I'm not going to get too deep into that. Got in contact with a Make-A-Wish who said one of the kids was a big fan of The Mandalorian and gaming. So together we created a Mandalorian game. That is amazing. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, for however many decades they've been doing their thing there, props to them, and props to this video game, which actually looks pretty awesome. And I hope the child, you know, had a full life where he was able to play it, or at least a whole lot of time to enjoy it there. That's beautiful. Met my husband 7 years ago on Christmas Day, and I'm guessing this is a tweet where she met her husband. This guy saw me sitting by myself in the movies and invited me to sit with him and his friends. That was nice. I guess that just goes to show you that love could be around any corner, you know. And like I said, I can't relate to that with romantic love, but I certainly can with these two beautiful dogs that neither one of them were planned. They both happened so spontaneously. I mean, Mrs. Puckett, there was no thought at all into getting her. It was right after Mr. Puckett died. And I went to the shelter and I walked around once and I said, I'll take that dog. And they said, well, don't you want to learn about her and take her for a walk and find out, you know, her food allergies and all this? And I said, no, just let me take her. And I was still just an emotional wreck, you know, bawling my eyes out after Mr. Puckett died. Whereas PJ here was posted on Imager by somebody, and they said, hey, this is a dog in a shelter and it looks like Mr. Puckett. And I said, oh, that's pretty neat, he does. And then I later found out he was in a Nashville shelter. So Z-Heart and me went and picked him up, and that's the start of a pretty good love story right there, I guess. All right. Aesop Rocky delivers meals to homeless shelter he lived at with his mom. Beautiful. All right, I don't know Aesop Rocky's music. I guess I'll have to check him out now. And I also didn't know he was homeless, so maybe we'll have to dig into that for another wholesome story in the future. That's amazing, giving back to the place that helped him. Something I haven't really been able to do yet. I mean, I did a supply drive for one shelter, which is Room in the Inn, that helped me, but all of the organizations that helped me in downtown Seattle and Minneapolis when I was homeless, I haven't been to either place since I've been back on my feet. So I think that's one thing that he's inspiring me to do here, is to give back to the specific places that have helped me rather than just kind of give back randomly on the internet as I've done in the past. All right, last one. We got our 20th image here. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's see what we got. Most of you know that I tragically lost my wife 2.5 years ago. Tonight I walked into my house to find my now fiance and my 3-year-old daughter making cupcakes and having a karaoke party celebrating Kylie's heavenly birthday tomorrow. I found a good one, I tell ya. Grown men do cry. Trust me. Oh, that's beautiful. That, you know, what I can only imagine was this gentleman's lowest point of his life 2.5 years ago. And the years that followed, too, trying to deal with something so tragic. And now he's realized that, you know, man, he's got it all again. He's got it all. No matter how tragic of a place you're in, you can have it all again. You know, every morning I woke up with a bottle in my hand, and you know, my end stage addiction was 3 to 4 years, and it looked like me getting out of bed and taking 7 shots because I couldn't even hold a toothbrush. I was shaking so bad, you know, and 40 to 50 ounces of alcohol a day just to function, you know, just to be able to walk without having a seizure. And you look at these low points, and there was no way I ever thought I was going to get out. You know, like that was my life, and I was stuck in it forever. And I mean, I wanted to give up, and I feel like I did give up a few times. But I mean, this is a good example, and hopefully someday I'll be a good example of that too. That the lowest of the low, you know, like we said before, it's just a slingshot. You know, you're being pulled back, and all that stress and tension on a slingshot, but you can only go back so far before it gets let go and you just fire off into the future. So Hopefully anybody out there who's listening to this right now, who's struggling and feels like that struggle is never going to end, I'm here to tell you that you just got to keep fighting. You know, some things never go away. I mentioned I still have nightmares and I still worry about homelessness on a daily basis. But what I have now, you know, with these 2 dogs in this tiny apartment, I wouldn't trade for the world. And if I had any indication that I could be here today, you know, back when I was on the street, I would have fought so much harder to get off the street. In the days that I didn't fight at all because I thought it wasn't possible. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and it takes a lot of love and help from everybody else. But if you're struggling right now and you think it's never going to get better, I'm here to tell you, this meme is here to tell you that it can get better. You just have to keep fighting. So if you need a hand, reach out. And if you don't, go grab a hold of someone reaching. We all have a part in that.